all 6 aspects of health. We share tips about physical, mental, intellectual, social, spiritual, and financial health. And today, our topic is on social health and best friends. So, for those of us who've never seen Millionaires Are Made, this is a show built on the fundamental belief that every person you meet knows something that you do not. There is something to be learned from everyone in this great, beautiful, wild world that we live in. And in the spirit of authenticity, we don't really talk about with our guests the tips or advice or anything before the show starts. We just keep it real, no bias, no persuasion, no persnickety stuff like that. I don't even know any of these guests except one who happens to be a very good friend of mine and also one of our sponsors for the show. But let's bring them on and talk about best friends. Our first guest is Jimmy Clare. Jimmy, how goes it today, man? Good. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you, Jimmy?
I'm a professional keynote speaker, podcaster, and I'm an autism advocate.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So with our topic today, and we're talking about best friends and social health, right? So if you could give just one tip for our audience and everybody out there listening, what would be your tip as far as best friends?
I say be your authentic self and nothing but your authentic self, because people either will, lack a better word, flock to you and resonate with you on your authentic self. But if you try to pretend to be somebody else that you're not, they're most likely going to see right through the BS.
Yeah, getting found out. So, as far as improving your health and being your authentic self to find a best friend, how'd you kind of come across that tip on your journey, or what's your story of finding that?
It's more what I've kind of did trial and error. It's not that I was being a BS artist, keeping it PG, but it's more like I'd rather share who I am gradually versus just either get scared off or just looking for the right words. Damn it. Basically, I didn't want to. I felt like if I share too much, people get scared off. If I be my authentic self and share gradually over time, I'll stay around, see. I'm sure there's a lot of parts that some people like and some people don't like, and probably some of my sarcasm as well.
So it sounds like you're saying there's a best friend is kind of something you got to grow into, right? Like you're not just going to flip a switch one day or push a button at the best friend factory and one pops out ideally that matches with your authentic self, right?
Well, I'd be kind of creeped out if you can just press in some kind of factory. I'm like, what am I building a neighbor friend? Oh God.
Yeah.
I'll pass on that one.
Yeah, I hear that. Well, thank you for the great tip. I want to get to some of our other guests. We'll bring you back on the round robin here for everybody else. Thanks so much, Jimmy. Now, our next guest is a very good friend of mine, introducing Lori Velasco.
Oh my gosh, you are the best, Josh. I gotta admit, I was like so excited to know that you were the guest host today. We haven't been able to connect for a while, but how perfect is this? Because that's all about what friendship is, right? Like going months and weeks and not being able to talk to each other and then get so excited to see you. But I know you're going to ask who I am.
I mean, the audience wants to know. They've got to know, who is Lori Velasco?
Yeah, absolutely. So for those of you who don't know me, been on the show a couple of times, I am a serial entrepreneur. I'm a connector of all people. I love people. People is my business, advocating for others. I am also one of the sponsors here for Biz by Right. We buy and sell businesses. So like that's something I'm always grinding on. Ironically, I also run preschools. And so this whole topic couldn't be better for me because this is what I have been teaching for over 30 years. And it's my passion of like embedding and installing in young children. 0 to 5 is our formative years, and like how we learn how to be and who we become. That it really sets the foundation early on. So anyways, I'm excited. Thank you. Grandma, mom, cat herder, all those things too.
Awesome. So, I mean, you literally get to see people make best friends all the time, all day, every day, in at least one of your businesses. Tell us from your experience, like, what's the one tip you would give to be the healthiest in the topic of best friends?
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I always say that, in working with children, really we are still children, just in bigger bodies. We still like possess all of the same emotions. We still throw tantrums. We still do all these things. And sometimes we portray undesirable behaviors, right? Like, we're not always like, as the last guy said it perfectly, be authentic. For me, it's really paying attention to the non-negotiables. Like energy is a big one for me. Friends should always make you feel lighter, not heavier. And if people's energies and that synergy isn't there, there's no vibe, there's no friend. Obviously, integrity is huge for me. If their words and their actions line up, it's like no best friend survives dishonesty. I'm really big on, always taking the higher road, doing the right thing, because that's what integrity says that we should do when, no matter who's watching us. Word. I'm big on people's words. If you say you're going to show up, show up. That consistency is gold for me. I can't deal with certain things. It's non-negotiable. If you're flaky, you're 3 hours late, probably not going to be for me. And another one too is reciprocity. Like it has to go both ways. It can't be one-sided. Friendships will drain you. Lifelong ones will fuel you. I will tell you, my best friend, him and I have known each other since we were 3. We lost connection for a while, but we've been friends for over 50 years. And so, it is something to go to show you that like the storms are going to come and those that are meant to stay will stay. And, I always say, like, picture it like a tree. All the leaves that fall out there in a storm aren't meant to stay. And I think the same thing goes, that stands true for people. If we hold on too tightly, it's only going to stunt our growth, because the branches that stay strong, like during those seasons, I really think that's when the roots grow deeper, and that's where true best friendships are really, really made.
Yeah, I think I've got a really good friend who recently told me that all too often we put seasonal people in lifetime positions. And that really that one got me, because I think all of us have been guilty of that at some point, through whatever method we came about that. So tell me though, like, I know you've got a lot of experience in this topic, but where specifically have you gathered this tip, and how do you how in your story have you determined that, right?
Josh, that's a really good question because, we're lifelong learners. We're always learning. And it's usually a lot of trial and error. And it's kind of like you said, we try to cling on to hope and potential that we see in people, right? And we give people chairs that really they probably shouldn't be sitting in, but it takes time for us to realize, because like out of the goodness of my heart, I want everyone to be the great person, right? So I will say that a lot of where I've had to learn a lot of this is, just through trial and error. I'm still that kid that you could tell, you're blue in the face. Don't do it. Don't do it. I want to make my own decision. I want to come up with my own perspective, my own conclusion. And that might mean that I go through the mud to get there. It pains me when someone says, oh, don't be friends with that person. They're this or that. Okay, well, that's your experience with them. I'd like to form my own, and just really being able to, see the goodness in people can backfire sometimes, but I think it just came through, trial and error and understanding that, people have to come and go. We can't hold on to everyone, because the bigger our circle is, the more chaos will be, the more noise it's going to have. We flood ourselves, right? And emotionally we will struggle. We won't. I know sometimes it's human to struggle, but not in the sake of friendships, because as I mentioned, friends should be the ones lifting us up, not holding us down. So trial and error, I guess, life lessons.
Yeah. Well, for our audience, if you find me and Lori blowing up Army men with M80s and making mud pies, we are still kids and we are friends. So, thanks for the great tip, Lori. I want to bring on our final guest here. Last but not least, we have Brian Pirana. Brian, tell our audience a little bit about who are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm Coach Brian Pirana. I have actually personally married my high school sweetheart. I was fortunate. So we've been lifelong partners. We're 42 now each. We have 4 kids, and 2 in high school, 2 in middle school. We travel all over the place, all 50 states, multiple countries and continents. We try and stay busy with our family. So it's the personal side, the professional side. I'm a health coach, nutrition coach. I help people lose weight, overcome chronic illness, and do it in a sustainable way that fits their lifestyle and the busyness of everything that's going on. So friendship and relationships and social health is something that I'm constantly dealing with, literally with people every day, and then encouraging them to find all better avenues to express that as well.
Awesome, man. Well, look, we had a question pop in the chat here real quick. I don't think they believe you're 42, Brian.
Well, yes, 1982, December 28th. That's my birthday. So thank you. I try my best to stay young at heart and young physically too.
Yeah, awesome. Well, definitely appreciate you being on the show here today, and having an expert like yourself in social health is, I think, pivotally important here, as our other experts. But if you could give just one tip out of your experience for our audience, what would be the best way to improve your social health with best friends?
Best friends, people, right? We have to be around others. We want to be around people that we like and we enjoy. And we can do that in a multitude of different ways, from food situations to entertainment situations to relationship to exercise and activity. And some of my most favorite people, especially guys, we work out together. I have 2 high school buddies that I still talk to, and one I actually work out with inside this barn where I'm standing at. And he actually came on Friday. And through exercise, through activity, we've not only grown together and started our relationship in high school, but it's continued throughout that time. I actually have 2 other friends. I call them my 4 amigos, Dan, Leo, Chris, and Andy. And Chris and Andy are a little bit more recent gentlemen that have joined in. Chris and I work out in this barn here. And Andy, I run with. Now, through the relationship of physical activity and connecting that way, rather than going out to the bar and having burgers or beers, or occasionally I've done other things with them. Usually all of us have multiple kids as well. So scheduling time is really challenging to do. And we prioritize connecting through physical exercise and activity that allows us to stay close, develop and foster relationships that go deeper than just, hey, my sport team's winning this week or something like that. We talk about life, we talk about our kids, we talk about our spouse, our relationships and such. And by being around other people, that is a wonderful way to foster, and doing it through a physical exercise is even more important, so that you can move your body, stay healthy, stay young in a sense, and build that relationship.
Well, it sounds like not only are you just connecting on the physical level or your activity that you're participating in, but you're also going deep, right? Like it's not a surface level gym bros interaction you're talking about here, right?
No,
we're not talking about, the next TRT shot and all the game or whatever, right?
Gains, protein.
Yeah, like you're really talking about like digging into the topics of everyday life that often get caught up in just the busyness of life, or even like not everybody sees all aspects of who you are, right? Like they say that everybody's got their own version of you, and I think the sense of what you're saying here, I think, is that having a time to connect over something and then displaying what is the unseen during that time is also a very key moment. So correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I gathered out of what you said.
Yeah, totally. The exercise or the course of the activity, whether it even be walking, is the initial way to create that bond and that connection time. But then you have undistracted time that you can spend with someone else. And in this day and age, distraction, time, busyness, those are all things that the world is inundating you with every single day. To be able to pause and connect with someone. I walked with my wife, with my dog today, screen free. We got out in nature, we walked the dog. We have this, say, 40-ish minute loop that we go walk and spend time together and talk. And that allows my wife and I to be connected mentally, emotionally, physically, and all that relationally. And then it says the same thing with my guys. And I will tell you, those 4 guys hold high esteem in my world because of the time that I've spent, whereas everyone else falls to an acquaintance level, which is more surface level. It's like, oh yeah, it's a nice day, I'm doing good. Work's really busy. Kids, they got me going everywhere, which way. And because you got some kids too. and that's it. And then we part ways, but there's not much there. And in my world, I'm finding that especially the older we get, 30s, 40s, 50s, the mounting responsibilities that we have on our plates, people are lonely. They're disconnected. They are by themselves in a sense, and they don't have those actual connection points to be socially well in a sense.
Yeah. Well, and I want to go ahead and kind of bring everybody back on for our round robin here, because I think something else to really, and while you're talking here, like something else to really reflect on. Yeah. What you're talking about doesn't cost $1. So
no, that's the best part.
This is exclusively like social health thing. This doesn't have to, for our audience, this doesn't have anything bearing what's in your bank account or, any other aspect of your health, but just investing and going deep. And I'd love to hear what kind of our other panel guests and stuff think about that, and how we can build that with best friends without those other aspects of health, right? So Lori and Jimmy, I welcome you guys back on here. So talking about best friends here, Jimmy, you said something I think that is real reflective of what Brian's talking about as well, and that doesn't cost $1, right? Like being your authentic self, being who you are without any apologies or out any cover-ups or mask, right? Like that's a freebie, right? Like we all get that if we're able to tap into it. So I want to talk about that. Like what do you guys think is the freebies we can get out of best friends, so to speak? And I don't mean like take from them, I mean, like growing with best friends.
Give.
How can we grow further there, right?
I'll start it off. I think we've all heard this a million times. Treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yep.
The golden rule.
The golden rule, right? I mean, friendship doesn't look the same for everyone. It's never going to look the same.
Yeah, I think that's a great point.
In my work relationship with my clients, it's always leave the person in a better position than when I found them. And that is giving to them, giving knowledge, giving time, giving my ear, my listening capacity. And I think that's what's really allowed me to have longevity in my career. I've been doing this for 23 years, just helping people better their health in one way or another through exercise, through nutrition, through lifestyle. It's being able to give to others and install in them, whether say modeling a better behavior, changing habits, routines, being an encourager or a motivator. And those are things that you can give to other people, especially in varying times or seasons of their lives. And when you understand that someone might be in this season or that season of their life, you can lean into that and create and foster way better relationships because you're paying attention and you're not distracted and you're spending time with them.
Well, Christine from our audience had a question. I want to direct this for Jimmy to start off. In your opinion, what matters more for social health? One super solid best friend or a circle of supportive connections?
I would say one at first, because then you always know you have someone you can lean on for support and give and take. Not like physically give and take, but I mean being there for each other in hard times. Because, I mean, over the years I've gotten my circle expanded a little bit. Not gonna say about how much, but I mean, because I look at it, I'd rather have a close group of friends. I mean, it didn't start off that way. I used to just have two as my close, as because one was my next door neighbor, one was a friend in public school, and then it expanded over the years. But I mean, it didn't always start off that way. So I'd rather start off with one or two versus, oh yeah, I'm just gonna throw a random number out of 20. Once you get more, be more your authentic self, people like your personality, connect to you on a deeper level, meet you where you are at, and can go from there. Expand if you feel like it. But don't become one of those people who like, oh, I need to be friends with everybody. I tried that, and I can tell you, it sucks.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with you. Being friends with everybody is not the way. A lot of people who know me personally will tell you that I'm not going to be friends with everybody, right? Like people's energy doesn't match up in line sometimes, right? You're not kind of on the same page with stuff. It's like that deep connection, as I think we've all remarked here, is a really important thing when we're talking about best friends and we're talking about being able to really connect and share with somebody. Brian or Lori, you guys got anything to add?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, people are all different. We have type A, type B. We have fast pace, we have slow pace. We have extrovert, introvert, and being able to find that sometimes even opposites attract and sometimes they repel, or we need to be more similar in a sense. And yeah, everyone's going to have different layers. So you're going to have a few close knit type people, and then it's going to go into the second rung of people where they are close contacts, but you might not be as deep, and it's going to go into the third one, and ultimately it's going to go into acquaintances where you are just in a relationship. You say hi to them, you're courteous, you can have some small talk, but then it's just not going to go any deeper because we only have so much time and bandwidth anyways to be able to manage relationships on any level as well. So you have to find those key people that you can give to and you can also take from, and that's a good, really high level relationship. And for each individual person, you have to understand where you lie in having more relationships at a less deep level, or if you need to be, I have one or two really good people that I can just pour into, and that be how you manage.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I was thinking, Josh, sorry, as Jimmy was talking about, like, you know, everybody and an abundance, right? And I started thinking about it, and Brian, you were saying, like, you know, the give and take aspects. And it's kind of interesting because as someone who's constantly networking, I probably talk to 15, 20 people a day. And you kind of know right out the gate, this person isn't for me. That energy clicks and you're just like, nope. But then it's all like, okay, wait, let's give them, you know, another chance, because while first impression might be everything, it also comes to like, for me, speaking for myself, like, I feel like the universe aligns people in my life for a reason. There's a reason why, like, I got around to this show today. I'm living and listening what every single person's having to say. And I think we're all walking from different, you know, parts of this world and this life, and our journeys and our experience and our perspective are all different, but there's something that's going to connect us all, right? And it's kind of like, what is it that each person brings to my plate? They may not be for me completely, because trust me, I'm not for everyone. I'm that friend you never put on speakerphone. And I have friends that are like, do not call Lori. And if you do, make sure like you can mute her, right? So it's like, yeah, I may not be for everyone. But when I meet people, there's always something that I'm able to take away. And that adds to a bag of my skills and whatnot that helps me to build boundaries, that help me decide and really look to define, like, is this a quality relationship? Because yeah, we may want to have 1,000 friends. Whoever said, like, hey, you know, is there a balance? I don't think or is one better than the other? I think it's a balance, right? It's a balance. Yeah, it's powerful to have that one person who shows up, who knows your history, your secrets, your quirks. You can act like dorks and snort and laugh and, you know, not going to, you know, unfriend you at the end of the day, but also having that like circle of supportive friends that, you know, you can lean on for everything. Maybe they come in abundance. Maybe I need Josh because Josh is like the most intelligent person I ever met in my entire life. And I know if I need help with something in the tech space, he's going to be my go-to guy. And we connect there. Right. And so it's like, there's going to be a reason why people come into your life or not, and how we show up for them. But best friends, I think, is a title that is something to where it's like, it weathers every storm. You know, you said it, Brian, you said like you and your wife go out of your way to, you know, walk and do these things to build those connections. Having a best friend is maintenance. It is. It's
work.
Something what you get out of it is what you put into it. And everyone else, you said, Jimmy, like all those acquaintances, you know, it really is. Or, you know, you said that too, Brian. It's like there's still wonderful, amazing people. It doesn't mean that, you know, we can't continue relationships. It's just that, Josh, you kind of mentioned this earlier, what seat we're putting them in, right? What seat that they're sitting in your life. And, you know, the best friend holds the pedestal to the cake of, you know, really defining every last, you know, facet of all what we talked about, you know, all the alignment of integrity and values and what that looks like. And it speaks different for everybody.
Yeah. Yep. A seasonal person in a permanent spot. Yep. Like, you know, you've got to really watch that. So I think that all in all, though, I think we'd all be in agreement that best friends are of great benefit to our lives. I personally feel like friendships and relationships are far more valuable than any of the other aspects of health, financial in particular. A lot of people put a lot of value on money and dollars and stuff. And I personally have found a ton more value out of the friendships and relationships that I've had out of life. I'm like Lori, I'm a constant networker, so I don't have a lot of people that I think are in that interior circle necessarily, but the people that I have had have been there 28, 25, 20 years, right? In a lot of cases, or even more recent stuff where there is that alignment and we can benefit each other and have that back and forth, right? It's not a one-way street. But that's our show on Best Friends today. Thank you guys so much for being guests here today on Millionaires Are Made. We've actually got two of our sponsors here with us, Brian Pirana and Lori Velasco. So check out their socials. Jimmy Claire as well here. Connect with us. Talk to us. Let's be friends, right? Like, we don't want to be strangers here on this show. This show is all about connecting and learning from each other. So thank you again for showing up here to hang out with us today on a Wednesday.